Welcome to Microsoft Excel with EJD. In this video, we'll be talking about text functions in Excel. Starting from the last three videos or so, we've been talking about some special functions like that. We did logical functions where we talked about if, and, or, and all that. And then in the last video, we talked about um, lookups, VLOOKUP, HLOOKUP, and XLOOKUP, which is superior to all of them. And if XLOOKUP is not available, how we could use match and index together to do the same job VLOOKUP should have done. So here our focus shifts to text functions in Excel. Text functions in Excel, and I'll be using these university student records. Of course, if you see any name that they're made up, they are not real people. So that's really important to note. Okay. So, but before I go to that, let's do some general stuff on a blank sheet. Let me make this big too for better visibility. Okay, let's go. Okay. So here, when we talk about text functions in Excel, right, we have um functions like left, right, mid, len, trim, and concat. So these functions are essential for manipulating and analyzing textual data in Excel, often used in data cleaning, formatting, and extraction tasks. So this is what we would call strings in Python, right? So what we call strings in Python is what we call text in Excel. And there seems to be similar functions we can use in Excel that looks so much like those of Python. So in Python, you have things like trim. I think it's not trim now. I've forgotten what that is, but I know that you can join words, you can trim words, you can do all that with some special functions. So let's start with the left function here. So for the left function, the purpose is to extract a specific number of characters from the beginning or the left side of a string, right? So for instance, if you have is equal to left is equal to left. So if I click on this now, okay, is equal to left open bracket. So you put the text and the number of characters you want to trim. So the text there is the original text of cell reference. So you can put a text directly there. You can put a cell reference, and you can also, um, you know, you can also put the text in a cell and reference it later. So I'll do the two just now to explain. Then the number of characters is optional, which is the number of characters to extract. Default is one if omitted. If you omit it, it means you're extracting just one character. For instance, if I just do left and I have invoice 2025, invoice 2025. Okay. And I just close the bracket. So it just extract only that I because I didn't indicate. But if I just come and say invoice 2025 and I specify number of characters, I say comma 7, enter. So it extracts the whole invoice. So it abandons the 2025. Another way to do this is just to type the invoice 2025 here as one word. And I just come here and say left, open bracket, A2. A2 is this cell now, comma, 7. So enter. So it gives us that invoice. So if you have more things going like that, you can actually, let's now say, okay. Okay, I mean, you can apply that across like that. So that's talking about left now. So let me put this insert, and I just call this whole thing left. Merge, and I have left like that. So that's the left function. Control. Okay. Now let me come here and do that left thing now. Left, left, left. For instance, I want to do left, left of, so let's say starting from, this is A2 now. Okay. And I just want to extract the, the first, the first, let me just say the first five, All right. So that means to extract STU dash 0 like that, you know. Or better still, let me do 6 so that we can add at least some variations at some point. 6. Let's do 6. Yeah, so we have STU00. So of course, as usual, we can drag it down to the last one. So if you drag it down to the 50th person, so you can see we have STU00 up to some point, then 01 up to some point and all that. So maybe you just want to extract things having zeros or ones or four or twos or threes like that. So that's left now. So okay, we can also do left for, say, we just want maybe we want to create an email address and we just need say we need just the first say we need the first three letters, of each person, of each first name, right? So we just have left and we have first name is in B2. The first is in B2, and then we just take three and press enter. Okay. Now, you see, the trouble with this one is that there's a space before Adewale, so all the spaces are counting. But I'll just do it like that. So you can see this space. I intentionally put the space because we're going to do trimming later. All right, so you just drag all this down. Okay, we drag this down, and you can see the first three letters are coming. So, but so you can see this Nkechi, there are some spaces before N. So it means there are two spaces before N. That's why it's giving us space, N like this. So, but very soon we are going to learn how to trim. So I go back to the first sheet as we go to that's for left now. Okay, so common use cases is when you're extracting prefixes, e.g., codes, area identifiers, or isolating first names from full names, you can use this. Or when you are trimming file extensions, you can also do this. Okay, so let's go for the right function. Right function. Right. So, of course, just like what left does, right start from the right hand side. All right. For instance, we need to I mean, everything just still follows. So if you copy this now and put it here, and then we just need right. So we need right, then open brackets. That now A6, I think that's A6 now, yeah, comma. We now need 4. So that means 4 from the right. That's 1, 2, 3, 4. So it's your extract 2025. Oh, okay. The problem with that is I didn't put an equality sign. Now it works. So 2025 is extracted like that. So if we go to the larger sheet now and want to do something like right, okay? Say we want maybe for the year entry now, I can just say right. Okay, right. I just want the last two. So that'll be started from this E2 now, comma, 2. I press enter. So to give me this 20. So we just need the last two letters, right, of the year. So that's a way of representing year normally too. So this is 2020, 2021, 2022, and all that. So we can do right like that. So when do you use right? Mostly the right function. Um, when you're extracting suffixes, such as years or codes, or when you're getting last names or file types, okay? And when you're working with numerical identifiers, like maybe you have some files like PDF, PNG, JPG, and things like that. So you may want to extract those last things, especially if they have the same number of characters. So working with numerical identifiers also works. So let's go for mid now. Mid. So mid. Um, MID. Okay. So for mid, the purpose of mid is to return a specific number of characters from the middle of a text string, starting at a specific position. Okay. So in this case, let's say let's say we still have invoice 2025, invoice 2025. We still have that. And then let me say I now have mid. So if I open the bracket now, we have now it's a bit different. We have text start num characters. So the text is the original text or cell reference. Then start num is the starting character position. Since you're extracting from the middle, you have to give a starting point. Number of characters is the number of characters to extract. For instance, so for this invoice 2025 now, if we are starting from, so I pick this and then we start from maybe the eighth character and we want to extract 2 starting from there. So it means that we have invoice is 7 already. 2 This 2 is the 8. So we have 2 and 0 like that, right? So that goes. Now, let's say here now, we want, let me see what can work. Trying to see. Okay. So since it's mid, right? Trying to look for a very nice place to start. Okay. Yeah. Let's imagine that we are joining together. We are doing is equal to mid from, say, the programs now from D2, and we are starting from. So we don't care about this whole BSc or whatever. Of course, I'm going to have a bit of issues with that, but let's see what happens. So we are starting from BSc, that's 3. Space is 4. Then we are just starting from 5 like that. Okay. And we go as far as, say, computer, that's 8. Or let me just say, so we go, computer is 8. Yeah. We go for 8 characters from there. So this gives us the computer, and we can drag it down for the rest. Okay. So whatever you want. So here we are fine at. Then you are going to have some weird ones like this mechanic, because we have some a space starting it. Then history. Here this one is giving us history because BA, But I mean, to make it align, right? We could just do something like, of course, economics is fine, right? Or I mean, yeah, let's be fine. So for the history now, I can try to create a space here, okay? And then history now shows, right? So because I've added an additional space, so we can actually work around things like this. So that's what mid actually does. Common use cases for mid will be extracting middle numbers like IDs or segments from structured codes, or passing information from formatted text. Like maybe you have a number plate like AB123CD. You can extract 123 by using mid function. So let's go for the len function. That's like show the length of the character of the text I want to believe. So we have len, len. Okay. So for len, now the purpose of the len function is to return the length, that's number of characters in the text string, including spaces and punctuation. So let's say you have okay, since we've been using invoice, let's still keep using that. Invoice 2025, and then I just come here and say is equal to len. It's not case sensitive. So yeah, there you just have text, right? So that's the string or cell reference to evaluate. So in this case, you just have invoice 2025, and then you just put this A12, and then that's it. So it shows you it has 11 characters. So if you want to know the number of characters, you know, something has a group of text has, you can do that. So let's you do, for instance, for program, let's see, we just have is equal to len, open brackets. Let's say the program, the first one is BSc computer. Yeah, and that's just it. So that program has 20 characters. Then you can drag it down for the rest. So you want to know the number of characters for each program that each person studied. So you have 20, 13, and so on and so forth. That's what len does. So that helps you with the text length. We have something like it's exactly len to in Python, right? So common use cases for validating input length, e.g., passwords, IDs, and for data quality checks, and it's used with trim to compare text length. So before and after cleaning, right? So but very soon we are going to do trim. After len, we are going to do trim functions, that you understand what we are talking about trim. Okay. Now we have done length, right? So sometimes you want passwords. Maybe you want people to input a password on your website, and you don't want it to be more than 6 characters. So anything below 6 characters will not be accepted. Anything above 6 characters will not be accepted. So you can use this length to specify or something like that. And data validation can also work in that case, just like we learned under under I think advanced data tools or something like that. So let's move on to the trim function. Trim function. We have the trim function, trim. Of course, as the name implies, the purpose is to remove all extra spaces from text strings, leaving only single spaces between words and no leading or trailing spaces. For instance, we have, let's say, I've been using invoice 2025. Let's keep using that. So by the way, yeah, we have invoice 2025. So before the invoice starts, right? So this is the cell now. So I put two additional steps, one, two, three, right? One, two, three, before I start typing, I say is equal to trim, open bracket. So just the text now. That's the text or cell reference. So if I put this now, I press enter. So you see it has trimmed it. So that thing that was imbalanced is just gone. So it helps us to remove that unnecessary thing. So, or let's also imagine that we have this now. Uh, we have this. We have some three spaces before, and I also want to create spaces after. So this also goes like this. All right. And then, that has to be expanded more because I've added some spaces. So if I just come here and just do is equal to trim. So I just want to trim off. Everything is balanced. So I press enter. So it makes it normal. So here I've intentionally created unnecessary spaces. Like all this Emeka is not starting from the first place. So like two, three spaces here and there. So let's do this for first name and last name. So first name starts from B2, last name starts from C2. So let's trim from C2. Trim is equal to trim starting from B2. B2, press enter. So now you have the Adewale was not balanced. Yeah, it wasn't balanced. Now it's balanced. Then we can drag that down for trim. Okay. Now, once you're beginning to have issues like this, the best thing is just to close it and open it again. All right, let's go back and open it again. So once you're beginning to struggle with the document, okay, I come back to open it again. Yeah. So Adewale is still there, not trimmed, so I can drag down. So everything is now trimmed. Let's go back and see the ones that were not balanced. So Adewale was not balanced. Emeka was not balanced. Now Emeka is fine. Emeka is fine. Now everything is fine. Which else? Which one is Tunde was not? So you see Tunde now is fine. So all the unnecessary spaces have been trimmed, right? So we can do the same for this is B2 now. So we can have is equal to trim C2. So any unnecessary, so this is a good data cleaning procedure to make sure that everything is fine, right? So we have done that for the surname too. So that's what trim does, like that. Okay, so common use case would be cleaning imported data from other systems, preparing data for comparison or matching, removing formatting issues. So trim does not remove, note that trim does not remove non-breaking spaces, e.g. character 160. You may need to substitute in such cases. So trim does not remove non-breaking spaces. So if there are non-breaking spaces, trim won't do anything about it. Okay. So is it the last function? Yeah, the last function is concat. Of course, as that name implies, concatenation that is the concat function. Let me just come here and talk about it like usual. Concat, CONCAT, concatenation. So here the purpose is to join multiple text strings or cell values into one. It replaces the older concatenate function. So there was a concatenate function. Now we call it concat. So let's say we have say we have invoice here, invoice, and here we have 2025. Okay. So, and then here now, we want to concatenate the two. So we just say is equal to concat open brackets. So we have all the possible things we want to concatenate. So we'll just put them there. So we have that's A19, right? Comma A20. If you don't want any space in between them, oh, this is B19, sorry. This is A19, B19. That's why nothing is showing for the second one. So B19, A19, B19. So so you see it joins everything together like that. If you want some space in between, so you can just say A19, comma, then create some space, then comma, and then you have a space in between like this, right? So let's go ahead and concatenate all the names now, especially the trimmed names. So here we can just have is equal to concat, concat, open. So that's K2, comma, L2, enter. So you have, so you just want to join, maybe you just want to form, you need an email address and you want to use the full name together, the first name and surname together. So you can do concat like this, as you have done this. So that can work. So you have first name, surname all joined together, and then you use that to form your email address. Or sometimes maybe you just need okay, let me see if we can do maybe we can combine these things together. I'll just try. So let's say you want to get an email address by just using the first letter of the first name, right? And join that with the surname. So in that case, now we need to use left, right? So that's left of K2. That's left of K2. And you're using just one. I don't think that's even necessary to add the one because it's just one. Plus, okay, plus it will now be plus L2. But of course, we now need to concat all this now. So concat this plus this now. Okay, I have to finish that up. Yeah, accept the correction. Okay, it looks like that does not work. Okay, I mean, we can find a way around it for sure. So what we just need to do, let me see if I remove this one, maybe it will work. This now. Okay, it doesn't still work. So no problem. So we can just do is equal to left of the first name and we pick so it will get so if you don't I don't even need to specify the one. Even if I specify the one, it will give us the same thing. So by default, right? So let me remove the one since it's not necessary. Okay. So now I get all this all the way down. So all the first letters of the first names, we have all of this. Good. Then the next thing is I want the last names now. Okay, I just want to concatenate. So I just concat now. This first letter, comma, the surname, enter. Okay, so we just have A Johnson at so blah blah blah. These are made up names, so they are not real people. So it's okay. So this now you can now form the email address for all these people. First letter and surname, G Omotola, A Olufemi, C Okeke, E Obi, and so on and so forth. What if you want to concatenate without adding any space? So you just have is equal. I mean, you want to put some space, right? So you just want to have maybe all these people are doctors, right? And you want to put their title, so you just have concat open bracket. So in anything you put in inverted in quotation, right, will come out just like that. So concat this, you have doctor, then you now need space in between. So create the space. Then you now have you now have K2, right? Comma, then create space again. All right. And then you have finally L2, enter. So you see, you have Dr. Adewale Johnson. Okay. And then you drag it all down. So we are assuming maybe it's a roster for medical doctors or something like that. So you can have all these people. So you have Dr. Adewale Johnson, Dr. Grace Omotola, Dr. Ahmed Olufemi, Dr. Chidima Okeke, and so on and so forth, up to the last three now. You have Dr. Amina Yahaya, Dr. Wachuku, and Dr. Esther Ibuka. So you can play around with this a lot, right? So that's what concatenation does. So common use cases will be merging first and last names, just like we've done here. All right. Then constructing messages or quotes. You can use it for constructing messages or quotes. Um, Combining cell values with delimiters. Compare with text join for delimiter. So like delimiters like space, or you want to add something in between, like whatever. So for the summary table, you see left is from left. So um okay, I mean, what they do, those things are very clear. So trim removes extra spaces, concatenation joins text, mid extract extract text from the middle, right from the right, left from the left, and so on and so forth. So that's how that has been. I believe it's so interesting. You want to play with this a lot. So if you work with Excel a lot, I'm sure this is very useful for you. Let me know how helpful this is for you, and let me also know if there's something you'd like me to try out. Um, if you have not subscribed already, you know you are missing a lot. So be sure to subscribe and hit the notification bell so you can always get alerted each time a new video is released. On my channel, you can now become a member with different levels of perks. So just click on join and see if you want to be a member. Feel very free like that. And be sure to like and share this video and other videos on this channel so that more people can have access to the great content I have going on here. Till I come your way again, keep doing data right. Bye.